All right, guys, let's make a little crypto video here. Market's in the dumps, about to go under 100,000. Ethereum tanking, your altcoins tanking. You guys been following my videos over the last couple weeks, last 3 weeks. I've been talking about sentiment. One of the main things I've been doing over the last couple weeks is going on Twitter, going on Facebook, going on Reddit, going on Telegram. I'm seeing where people are mentally. And 2 weeks ago, people were like, buy the dip. Last week, people were like starting to come out and saying the bull market's over. Now this week, everybody's bearish. I think I talked about this a couple days ago in my last video. Everybody's talking about the end of the world, bull market over, Bitcoin going to zero. I should have bought stocks. You know, I played you guys some tweets, or I showed you guys some tweets from a couple years or a couple days ago where Scott Melker came out and said I should have just bought, or you could have just bought stocks. You got like Wendy O coming out pretty much just saying worst bull market ever. I would say like 90% of your big influencers have completely capitulated. And guys, that normally is what has to happen before Bitcoin can make its next high. All that dumb retail emotional money has to be flushed out. Now, of course, the elephant in the room is that if you follow the 4-year cycles, we really need Bitcoin and altcoins to fly by the end of the year. That gives us less than 2 months. I'd say by January, at least by New Year's. If we're still following the 4-year cycles, we kind of have to be doing something. If you listen to guys like Tom Lee, who we talk about all the time, Tom Lee, Fundstrat, he thinks Bitcoin and altcoins, and especially Ethereum, are going to rally by the end of the year. And that would kind of coincide with the 4-year cycle. I was listening to Rand Neuner this morning. He made a lot of sense. He doesn't always, but he understands at least the emotions of the market and the sentiment, and he's pretty much been echoing what I've been talking about for the last couple of days. I haven't been looking at charts. I haven't been looking at anything. I've been looking at sentiment. Like I've said, I haven't seen sentiment this low probably since maybe FTX, Terra Luna collapsing, although it actually feels worse right now because it's hard pressed to find anybody who's bullish on these markets. And normally when we reach a top and we're going into a bear market, we get a blow off top. Everybody's really, really bullish, and everybody's bullish for a while saying, oh, we're going to come back. Things are going to bounce back. And we didn't get any of that. All we pretty much got was 124,000, big dump, and then basically everybody's bearish. So it really is interesting to see what's going on with the sentiment. I'll play a little bit of Rand Neuner. It's just, this just goes to what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Look, if we're going to rebound, it's going to happen when fear and greed index is at all-time lows and people have completely capitulated. Then we normally get a rebound. Now, like I said, it is possible we just go into a bear market. We go into a bear market for the next 6 months to a year. Everybody's miserable. Everybody's crying, and that's the bear market. But something just feels off about that. If we were going into a bear market right now, I would have no problems coming out and saying, I really think we're going into a bear market. I think it's all over. I'll see you guys in a year. Maybe things will come back. I'm just not feeling that right now. I really feel like things are going to bounce back, especially when you look at the fundamentals. You look at what's going on with the quantitative easing, the interest rate cuts. Jerome Powell is going to be getting kicked out, and Trump's going to be putting his guy in. I don't see why we can't have a big rally by the end of the year. Or even extending into maybe even spring. But let's hear a little bit of Rand Neuner here.
The correction will end when we're all convinced that the end of the cycle was on the 6th of October, and when we touch or get close to these levels. I can't call levels perfectly. I'm not that guy, but I can give you areas. Also, my view is the following, right? My view is that every time that we have bad sentiment, the most negative sentiment, that's when the market turns. This is a metric that says the metric has proven to be extremely accurate. When it turns orange red, it identifies local price bottoms in 90% of the cases. It's a sentiment indicator. It's the same as the fear and greed sentiment indicator that I'm doing. Remember, I always said to you, I always buy extreme fear and I always sell extreme greed. And now we are in extreme fear. This is the first day that we've been in extreme fear, 21, and the market is actually scared. My thesis is very simple. You buy extreme fear, just like you would have bought extreme fear over here, right? The only thing is, it lasts about, in this case, it lasted about a month. This is a very long correction. Usually extreme fear lasts for about 7 days, and then the market actually starts turning. You always buy extreme fear. Buy extreme fear, that's my thesis. Right now we're in extreme fear, right? And so that's why I'm starting to deploy my capital much more aggressively. My thesis has been since the beginning that we're going to come out and take out the lows. We just took out the lows. My thesis was it's going to take us 30 days to take out the lows. We're almost on day 30. It's getting very close. Now, look, you can choose to listen to the FUD out there. And the FUD is very obvious FUD, right? Because the FUD is a self-perpetuating loop that you always see. Let me explain to you how the FUD works, right? The FUD says to you, hey, prices are going down. And guess what? The whales and the long-term holders are selling Bitcoin. Obviously, bro. You know why they're selling Bitcoin? Because in this cohort of long-term holders is a bunch of holders called the ETFs. They are the biggest part of this cohort, right? And the ETFs will always sell when the futures funding rate drops because they're trading the arbitrage. What do I mean by they're trading the arbitrage? You buy the ETF and you sell the future and you lock in an annualized interest rate of up to 8%. When the risk-free rate is at 5% or 4% or 3%, you can lock in 8% by just shorting the perp and buying the ETF. And when the interest rate comes down, they're going to sell the ETF and unwind the trade. And then they're going to be classified as these long-term holders. You get it? So obviously, in times when the price goes down and the funding rates drop, they will be selling because they are the long-term holders. Also, remember one thing about prices, right? The best advertisement for an asset is its price. When the price of Bitcoin is going up, everybody wants it. When the price of Bitcoin is going down, nobody wants it. The same thing happens with MicroStrategy, right? When the price of MicroStrategy is going up and Bitcoin is going up, everybody wants MicroStrategy and they're willing to pay premiums and multiples and whatever else.
Anyway, you guys get the point. So never in really history in Bitcoin has the sentiment been this low and we haven't recovered unless we happen to be in a bear market, and then obviously we'll recover months later or a year down the road or something like that. Most people are in the consensus right now that, or at least smart people who I listen to, is we're not in a bear market right now. We're in a pullback. Bitcoin's going to go under $100,000, maybe 95, maybe 98. Then we're going to get a big bounce, and then we're going to rally. That doesn't have to happen. It might not happen. You should be well diversified. You should have other things. As you guys know, I sold all my MicroStrategy stock last year. I sold all of my trading bags about a month ago. In fact, I sold my trading bags twice at 95 cents for Cardano. And then I sold another bag of Cardano at 70 cents when we had that big crash on October 10th. I told you guys, buy Cardano and then sell it when it pumps back up to 70 cents. That's exactly what I did. And then I told you guys I'm not trading anymore. So my trading bags have been great. My stock sale has been great, but obviously my long-term bags of Cardano and everything else are pretty much in the shitter. But it's not over until the fat lady sings. I think we have room to go. Obviously, if we're following the 4-year cycles, we only have a couple months to rally. But I'm going to put my faith in the smart people. I'm not going to put my faith in the dumb people on Twitter. Your Scott Milkers, who used to be a DJ, you know, for like celebrities, or like these guys are like crypto influencers who like were living in their parents' basement. I've been saying it for years. 90% of people who are crypto influencers, like your big crypto influencers, they had no career before Bitcoin. Like nothing. I'm not even saying they weren't even like plumbers. They weren't even like electricians or cops or firefighters. Like they quite literally did like side hustle jobs. Like they were pool boys, radio DJ, or not radio DJs, like wedding DJs. They were in jail. They were on crack. I mean, look at BitBoy. Some of these other guys on like Discovery Crypto, they were like cab drivers. Like there's zero background here other than they know how to shill referral links. But they're not the people you want to be listening to right now. These people freaking out and overly emotional. Yeah, obviously, Bitcoin goes down to $70,000 and we're in January. We're in a bear market. And then the only question is, when do we come out? Do we come out in 6 months? Do we come out in a year? Do we have to hold for another year and a half? Anything can happen. And with a lot of these altcoins really not doing all that well, I mean, they're not going to have as big of dumps. Yeah, if Cardano goes back down to 30 or 40 cents, well, it really only got up to $1, so it's not like it's excruciating when it went to $3 and then dumped down to 30 cents. So a lot of these altcoins haven't run. Some of them have run. That's great. But we need to basically let this 4-year cycle play out is what I'm trying to say. And like I said, go on Twitter, go on Facebook, go anywhere. 95% of everybody, they're miserable. They're crying. They're screaming. Even even some of these big influencers who I would have never guessed would capitulate. And they're not even, it's almost like they're not outright saying Bitcoin's a scam or anything. Like they're just saying, oh, like when Scott Melker comes out and he makes a tweet saying, oh, you could have just put your money in tech stocks and you would have made more money. That's his way of saying, I'm pissed off at the market. I didn't make the money I wanted to, and I'm capitulating. He's like second guessing his decisions. So, and then when you have all the other ones retweeting worst bull market ever and all that, that's capitulation, guys. For one, that's people who put way too much money in crypto. And it's just like, it's really fucking with their head. Especially a lot of these big influencers, when you see if your job is, I have to get as many views as possible on YouTube and I have to show referral links, or I'm going back to working at the liquor store, or I'm going back to being a wedding DJ, it really starts to mess with your mind and you start to freak out. That's why guys like Scott Melker are freaking out. He's thinking in the back of his mind, oh, I might have to go back working as a DJ. Or a lot of these guys on Discovery Crypto, or a lot of these other YouTubers, like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back to driving a cab. I'm gonna have to go back to, working at a dollar store. Like with me, it's like I have another job. I really don't depend on crypto at all. I have real estate. I have stocks. I sold all my crypto stocks last year. Like I'm not like completely invested. It doesn't matter what happens with me with crypto. This channel is just for fun. But you can see with a lot of these other people who are completely dependent on views and in crypto, they're completely miserable right now and they've completely capitulated. So it really is fascinating. I made a video a couple of days ago and I said, how much lower can the capitulation go? I don't think the capitulation can go that much lower. I actually think it's already at the low. Like, I feel like people have already capitulated and that's it. I feel like once we go under $100,000, the last little bit of like retail loser money is going to basically sell. I also think we probably have a lot of sell orders for Bitcoin under $100,000. And I think there's probably a lot of Ethereum sells for under $3,000. So I think we might actually see like go under 100, maybe then crash down to 95 and then come up. But my point being is you're seeing the stock market pulling back today. You're seeing Bitcoin pull back today. But the fundamentals are good. And a lot of the big players are buying. A lot of guys like Tom Lee, who's big in the Ethereum fund, he's buying. And a lot of people are calling for a rally going into the end of the year, just like we had a rally last year. So yeah, it sucks. It's like, yeah, we want it to be at certain price levels right now, but Bitcoin rarely does what it wants you to do. And even thinking back, like over the last year, like everybody's talking about, like we have to go bullish in the summer. Like I was even saying, like we have to go bullish 4-year cycles. We're going to get an alt season in the summer. Like is it really that easy? Can it really be that easy where everybody thinks we're going to go into alt season in the summer or going into the fall? Like that probably means we're not going to get an alt season in the summer or fall if everybody thinks we're going to get it. We're going to get an alt season. We're going to get a Bitcoin season when everybody capitulates and nobody thinks we're going to get it. And then you get the catch-up trade where everybody sells. We go down to 95,000. Then Bitcoin goes up back up to 105, 110. And all those people who sold, all that dumb money who capitulated, Scott Melker, Wendy O, pick your YouTuber, pick your influencer, then they come running back in and that shoots the price up. And then the retail money comes in and we kind of go from there. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen. But there's also that possibility, like I said, we're going into a bear market. We're going to have 6 months of bearishness. It's going to suck. And then Jerome Powell's going to get fired or he's basically leaving. And then we're going to have the new guy come in for the new Fed chief's going to come in and Trump's going to be pumping Bitcoin. Then we're going to start pumping from there. And that's going to be like, 4 to 6 months from now or 4 months from now, 5 months from now, whatever it is. But whatever happens, you have to be ready for it. Like if we're bearish for the next 4 or 5 months, it's not going to affect me one bit, guys. I could care less. And I have a lot of money in crypto. I have 6 figures in crypto. So I'm not just some schlub with $1,000 in crypto. I got like 6 figures in crypto. It's a big deal. But the coins that I own are all spot. It's not leverage, and they're all coins I believe in. The coins that are all my real shit coins, it's like a couple $1,000s worth. Some of these gaming stuff, some of these gaming plays, things like that I put a couple $1,000s into. I don't really care about them, but my main holdings I believe in, and I think if they don't come back this cycle, they're going to come back next cycle. But for me, like I said, I'm still in the camp. Sentiment is low. Normally when sentiment goes this low, this fast, everybody's capitulating. It normally means we're going to come back, and it normally means we're almost at a bottom. I think that bottom is probably going to be not between $95,000 and $98,000. And it's going to suck. It's going to hurt. It's going to be end of the world. Everybody on CNBC is going to be telling you it's over. A lot of people on Twitter are going to be telling you, okay, we'll see you in 3 years. You're seeing a lot of that right now. Okay, bye. I'll see you in 3 years. Guys, it's when everybody capitulates like this is the kind of capitulation you see when we're at the bottom of the market and we've been in a multi-year bear market. This is the same capitulation you're seeing right now. I'm not even sure if I've ever even seen it this bad. Like, maybe I have. I mean, I know it's been bad, but like when you're seeing a lot of these big YouTubers capitulate, it's like, wow. Like that is some crazy shit. And it normally means we're almost at a bottom. But like I said, it could mean we're going to be going to a bear market. I really don't know. The fear and greed index is at fear. Last week we were at neutral. Last month we were at neutral. Now we're into fear. What does that mean? It means most of these people now think we're in a bear market. Rand Neuner did a poll, which was interesting. I know why he was doing it now. Every week he's been doing a poll. Are we in a bear market or a bull market? This time 2 weeks ago, it was like 70% of the people were saying we're in a bull market. Then last week it was down to 60. Now it's down to like 40. And next week it'll probably be at 30. So basically we're at a point right now where more than half of the people have given up on this cycle, have given up on the market, and they think we're in a bear market. Guys, what does that usually mean? And you have to make that decision. Do you want to be a part of the dumb money, or do you want to be a part of the smart money? What's the smart money doing? Fundstrat, Tom Lee, the big whales. What are they doing? Like, they're looking for lower prices, and they're basically hoping for a rally at the end of the year. So that's pretty much it, guys. I know it sucks. I know a lot of people are freaking out. I really don't even care. It doesn't even faze me. Like, I know if I don't make the money in my altcoins this cycle, I'll make it next cycle. I'll be smarter next cycle. I'll just sell my Cardano at like $1 and I'll just get the hell out, and that'll be it for crypto. You guys know, like, I'm kind of done with crypto anyway. It's like, I think like I have other things I want to do, but it's not like it's not like the prices are going down right now and you lost all your money. You've only lost all your money if you're in shitty projects or you're doing leverage. If you're holding Cardano, Ethereum, Solana, Litecoin, I mean, worst case scenario, you just have to hold it longer. But like I've been saying in my previous videos, let's see what happens. Let's give it to the end of the year. I think we're low. The sentiment cannot get much lower. It can't. Go on Twitter, go anywhere, see it like 99.9% negative. We have to get a bounce pretty soon, or we're just in a bear market and that's it, and you just have to wait. Either way, it's either we're going to have a nice rally by the end of the year, or we have to wait 6 months to a year until we get that quantitative easing and Powell gets out of there and Trump starts pumping the markets again. We're also in a government shutdown, which is basically scaring the markets. And as you guys know, Bitcoin is a risk asset. Your altcoins are even more of a risk asset. So now people are scared of the government shutdown. A lot of these federal workers have not had a check in over a month. I can see the fear. I know a lot of government workers. My wife is a government worker. You're starting to see the fear because they want their paycheck. They don't know what's going to happen. And that's also instilling fear in the market. So right now it's a waiting game. Let's see what happens. I think the bottom is close. I think within the next week we're going to hit bottom. I think we're probably going to get like a $98,000 Bitcoin, and then I think we're going to be rebounding from there. But if it doesn't happen, we'll just have to hold on a little bit longer. All right, like and subscribe. Talk to you later.